Good day, good day, good day. This is QueenDreamz coming back to you. We're going to talk today about deal makers versus two deal breakers. Yes. And I want to look at a couple of areas. When you have to make a decision, ladies, sometimes we may need to do a pros and cons list. Go back to your good old-fashioned list of what would make me make this decision, what could enhance my decision, or what could make me not move forward with the situation or not make this decision. So I want to call this deal makers versus to deal breakers. And let's look at a few areas. You could have deal breakers versus to deal makers, of course, in this golden area called relationships. And so what does that look like? It looks like this. When you first meet somebody and when you're kind of going through the formalities of asking questions about things that are relevant and important to you both, what can determine whether you have a successful relationship versus to a non-successful or failed relationship is when the individual is sharing things about themselves that make you that sends a message to you. Most times we typically will get a message sent to us internally, and you know whether that's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Some people would call these things red flags. I tend to err with the notion of don't even wait until they become red. Look if they're a pink sign, and determine what you want to do with that information. So if you know, just some examples, that you do not want to date a gentleman with children, and if you know that's a deal breaker, then that would be some information that you would need to make make an informed decision about early upon. There's no need to get into the relationship and realize this man is a every weekend father and he doesn't have really a lot of time for the relationship if you know up front this is a deal breaker. Or for some, over the years I've heard, well, I don't want to really date someone or marry someone that smokes or drinks. Again, assess your list of deal makers. Assess your list of deal breakers. Is it in the relationship category you want a Christian man? Not a man that says on paper he's Christian or in a nice profile that he's a God-fearing man, but you actually want a man that demonstrates what that looks like. There is a difference between people that talk about it and people that are about it. So if having a relationship that includes God or your supreme higher belief system, if that's relatively important to you, that will be called a deal breaker, or perhaps that's a deal maker. So look at your internal list of things that you truly desire, and it's okay to stick with it. Stick with it. We live in a huge world. While it may seem very small, there are billions of opportunities to do things that you really want. Well, I may be exaggerating with the word billions, but there are endless opportunities for you to put yourself in a better environment, in terms of whether your deal maker or breaker concerns your relationship or even your job or even your friendships. So let's go to the next category. But before I do, let me recap. In terms of relationships, deal breakers, examples could be person has children, you prefer a person that doesn't have children. The person smokes or drinks, you prefer a person that doesn't smoke or drink. The person is not a demonstrating Christian. That's something that you highly desire. I hear it all the time from women. Well, he doesn't go to church, he doesn't do this, and I do that. Well, if you know those things, don't put yourself in a situation, because what you're going to guarantee yourself is that person's belief system, which is probably in direct conflict of what yours is. So whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, whether you're atheist, whether you're agnostic, whether you're a researchist, whatever that looks like, if you know you want someone that pairs your belief system, then really treat yourself to having what you want, and it is truly okay. So stick to your deal makers in those areas, which are direct opposite of deal breakers. Deal makers are examples I just listed. They match your faith system. They match your social level in terms of alcohol and drugs. They match the fact that if you don't have children, they don't have children. So think on those things. Their financial level may be similar to the financial level that you have attained. So look at your pros and cons, aka deal makers versus the deal breakers, and just be okay with knowing it's all right to have what you want. It's okay not to be okay with deal breakers. It's okay. You do not have to be pressured into having either that you don't desire. So keep that in mind. Now, the next category we're going to talk about in terms of job. Yes, job. You have to go to an employer's place unless you're fully self-employed and work for someone. So why not use this same list to determine whether you actually want to be at that place working for this particular employer. So with that, is this job something that you truly desire to be doing Monday through Friday? Typical places work Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day or so. So think about the attributes of a pretty, I won't say perfect place, but it could be perfect for you. Is the salary commensurate with your experience? Is the environment, how's the commute to the office or the location where you would have to work? Think on these things. Again, deal makers versus the deal breakers. Or is it something that's completely out of your area, not particularly something favorable to what you desire to do? Think on that. And it's okay to say, no, I don't want to take this job. In the current marketplace, lots of people are unemployed. I just had the option of seeing a report as to, if you're African American, how unemployment statistics have been higher in this particular race category. So keep that in mind as well. If you're African American or an individual of color, the notion is sometimes we have to settle just to be able to get work. Well, I tend to disagree with that. I am African American. I believe that you still can employ the notion of deal makers to deal breakers. As you become a mature individual in life, you can't afford just to take any type of job if you have certain types of responsibilities. So keep that in mind. You want to still assess what type of place will this be, what type of environment is, what type of culture, what type of coworkers, what type of management style exists at this location. Are the hours something you desire? Is the pay? You know your lifestyle. You know what you can afford to take in terms of employment versus to what you cannot. So again, it's okay to take a deal breaker, a deal maker mentality when it comes to the level of employment you may attain. And the last category is friendships. Same applies, same rules apply. Is this friendship adding to you? Is it multiplying you? Or is this friendship dividing you or subtracting from you? You do not have to subject yourself to any type of friendships just in the name of having friends. Now, if you struggle with that, that's a separate episode altogether. Reach out to me individually and we can talk about how that may be able to work in your favor. But are these people that you were once friends with, and you no longer share the same values that they do or the same outlook on life? Or you've simply grown? Or you have a better circle of people that share like mind? Again, they're deal makers in terms of friendship. We don't have to carry the loyalty complex. We don't. I know sometimes as women we can be pretty loyal to people that no longer serve the purpose as friends in our lives, and it is okay not to be so in-depth or so thorough with people that simply have expired in our lives as friends. It's okay. We change and we grow. Other people change and grow. It just so happens we may change and grow in different directions. So think on these things. Ladies, I love coming to you on a weekly basis. Typically, I come to you every Monday. But I'm certainly available to answer any questions in between Monday to Monday. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, by email on my website, which is QueenDreamz.com. I'd love to hear from you. I really would. I appreciate you listening, and I look forward to coming before you again. In the meantime, it's so much going on in our society right now. with the community unrest, the unjust scenarios we're seeing played out on TV, not things of our imagination. So I want you to be safe. I want you to be kind to yourself. You know, it's one thing to be kind to others, but definitely be kind to you. And know that it is okay to operate and exercise in your list of deal makers versus to deal breakers when it comes down to the categories, which are important areas of our lives. Relationships are very important. Significant relationships, intimate relationships are very important in our lives. So take your list out, brush it off, and reflect and update deal breakers versus to deal makers. Even when it comes down to friendships, those friendships could be family connections. You know how I feel about that. They all apply. And most certainly your job or your career or your occupation path. Thank you so much for taking your time to spend with me to listen to deal breakers versus to deal makers. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.